All right, we're here at Camtech today, trying out, the SL3 with Leica themselves. I've been very excited about this thing. I really want to see the differences between the A7R5 and the SL3. Obviously, we've had the sensor in the M11, the Q3. It's a great sensor. I love it a lot. The dynamic range is amazing, low light performance amazing. I like the idea that you can switch between the file sizes because the SL2 would just chew through my hard drive every time I would use any of the pictures. So it's nice to have that liberty because I've come to really appreciate that ability, especially with my A7R5. So a few differences finally. We got the flippy, well, not the flippy, but the tilty screen here. The user interface that I loved about the SL2 is now found itself into the SL3 and even more perfected. My favorite features, of course, are the fact that you can click and hold on a button and then change its ability, its function. So you can change it to, let's say you click on something here, and now suddenly you can toggle between what this button does by just simply clicking and holding on it. Saves yourself a ton of time rather than diving through a menu. The power button's changed. You don't have the switch anymore. You have a physical button. Startup time is very Leica M11. It turns on right away. And the screen is beautiful, and the viewfinder is also really nice. Very high contrast. You got your screen on top. When you switch from video to photo, your menu changes as well. Okay, so we got 5.5 stops of image stabilization. You got the 0.7 mag viewfinder. So I really want to compare the image quality because the main benefit of the SL3 over, let's say, the A7R5 in this case is going to be the compatibility with your M lenses. Because you got those micro lenses in the sensor, the A7R5, I've already seen it when I test my lenses on it. You get increased field curvature, slightly increase in vignette, but mainly all those benefits are going to be found in the Leica sensor on the SL3, where you're not going to have those things anymore, and that's what you're paying for, if you ask me. Other than, of course, the build quality and the user interface, the main benefit is always going to be the sensor and the compatibility with your beautiful M lenses, and of course these lovely SL lenses. So let's check it out. Let's see the differences. Boop. So I'm back home, and I realized only when I left that the SL3 that I was testing was not recording to the SD card I put into it. So that's unfortunate, but I still got the chance to look at the pictures that I took on the screen of the SL3, so it did give me a good inclination as to how good the image quality is. The colors looked more or less similar to my Sony one. I'm sure there's going to be a much bigger noticeable difference when I dive into the files on my computer, but I'll get to that when I next see a SL3, which should hopefully be sooner than later. But I did also get my Oberwerth bag. It came in just after I got back from Camtech. So this bag is much more suitable. This is the large Leica SL bag, and it can fit, at least as we saw before, my Sony. This is the A7 IV here. Just slides right in there. And I could fit my 15-inch 16-inch actually MacBook Pro in here too. I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys want me to talk about this bag more. By all means, reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk about it. But I'm loving my Oberwerth accessories, and everybody that watches these videos gets a link in the description where you save 10% on your order by using generic 10 at checkout. So definitely do that if you're interested in any of the stuff. Highly recommend it. And last thing before I go, I did a brief comparison of the Leica SL3 and the A7R5 with the 2470 G Master 2, the SL3 with the 2490, and I was not entirely blown away by its immediate autofocus speed. It does feel comparable to other cameras, which is fair, more entry level or older generation cameras. I think Sony has an advantage when it comes to autofocus on their cameras, because they're also the first to enter in the market, so they've had a lot of time to do that, right? This A7R5 with autofocus is incredible, but I really enjoyed using the autofocus on the SL3. It's the best autofocusing Leica, so at least it's the best at that. And the lens, the 2490, is from 2017 now, so it's already pushing 7 years old, whereas this G Master 2 is only a year and a bit old. So I'll give Leica the opportunity to redeem itself when I try it with a more modern release, with more modern autofocus lens motors in the lens, but it was just to say very good autofocusing, but it did not feel as snappy and quick as the A7R5s. Another cool thing about the SL3 was when I mounted on third-party lenses, the subject detection was still there. So on the autofocus, when you're looking at a subject or aiming it at a crowd or something like that, and you're looking at your lens and your screen, you can see it outline the faces and the bodies of the people that are in front of you, and you can choose to focus on each one of those. So I was really hoping when I tried the manual focus lens on the SL3 and I started seeing faces get circled in boxes, meaning that the face detection is on, subject detection is on, even though there's no autofocus, which is very new to me, unless you're shooting a Nikon DF, that is. I was hoping it would have what the DF has, which is when you go to confirm your focus, when you do your focus magnification on your manual focus lens, which I use all the time when I'm shooting weddings, because all I shoot is manual focus lenses, it goes right to the eyes, it goes right to the face on the DF. So when I saw the faces, squared off on the SL3, and I saw many at a time, I was excited, so I started tapping on them, trying to figure out if I could do anything with that. I couldn't seem to be able to use those boxes as a source, as a place to magnify towards. I hope there's a firmware update, because it definitely seems like that could be a possibility, and I really hope it is, because that would make the SL3 that much more compelling for somebody like me, or just people in general, because the DF has that. I don't know if any other mirrorless cameras have that, but it's something I want to see more mainstream, because we like our manual glass, and the SL3 is the king when it comes to manual focus lenses, because if you have a crazy lens like a Leica Simulux 75.125, I tried that on my M10 a few years ago. I missed like 9 out of 10 shots, and that's a lens that costs like $15,000. So you pretty much should just get an SL3 if you have, a 90 Simulux or a 75 or whatever, anything above 50 that's really quick, even any Noctilux basically. You're gonna get your shots with the SLs as they should, and now it's smaller than ever. Anyway, thank you Camtech for letting me, try out the camera, and I look forward to testing one in the future, and hopefully not compare too much to my A7R5. All right, let me know what you guys think about the SL3 in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.